Any
Hare
other point?
Krishna.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the aspects that we discussed yesterday was offering a favorite article. Like if you like something and if you offer to Lord, then the Lord becomes very pleased and that person is like eternally benefited. And his progress in devotional service is assured.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
So
you.
one of the aspect is offering favorite article to Krishna. What
Hare
else?
Krishna, Hare
Yeah.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Also, taking care of the tulsi plant, serving the tulsi plant, and even by pouring water and touching the leaves and paying obeisances, one gets freed from sinful activities.
Yeah, and all auspiciousness is created in life.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Any other point that you remember from yesterday?
Hope Vibhatu Patkamile Dasasan because being a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna.
Sorry, come up again.
Servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord.
Okay. I mean, in what context this was discussed? What you are saying is correct, absolutely.
It's regarding servitude.
So, fine.
जी हरि भक्ति विवेक उसमें बोला गया था कि जैसे कि सोल्ड एनिमल को हेलो हरि बोल
हाँ, क्या बोला गया था?
उसमें बोला गया था कि जिस तरह से एक सोल्ड एनिमल को अपने मेंटेनेंस और सस्टेनेंस की चिंता नहीं होती, इसी तरह अगर मैं अपने आप को भगवान की बॉडी और सोल अगर अपने आप भगवान को दूंगा तो फिर उसमें मेरे को भी अपनी मेंटेनेंस सस्टेनेंस की कोई कंसर्न करने की जरूरत नहीं है.
So this was under which aspect of devotional service?
Surrendering everything to the Lord.
Yeah, Atmanivedana.
मैं बताऊं? हरिबोल.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
आप भगवान को प्रचार करता है, हमारे पता नहीं तो भगवान के लिए बहुत प्रिय है.
Okay.
ये पॉइंट है इसमें.
So it is an aspect of which vision? Which limb of devotional service does it was quoted for? Hare Krishna. It was aspect of Sakhyam.
हाँ जी बोलिए.
Yeah.
साख्यम. ठीक है.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Can you repeat the question, please, Prabhuji? I joined late.
Any one point from yesterday?
Okay.
So please mute yourself.
Hari Bol Prabhuji.
Anji.
Self-surrender, like self-surrender means not only surrendering spirit soul, but also one's mind and body to the service to the Lord.
Okay.
As Bhakti Vinod Thakur also.
Anyone knows that bhajan?
Yes. He was saying, whatever it is in my position, I am offering to you. Whatever you want, my Lord, you can do.
Yeah, what he specifically mentioned, what all he is offering. Anyone knows which bhajan?
My mind, my household affairs, and my body.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And there were more also.
All authorities belong to you, Lord, my Lord.
So just a little quiz for all of you. If you can find out that bhajan, जिसका translation यहाँ पर quote किया गया, by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. If you find, post it in the group. So at present, that day also, there was one question कि हम Eastern Ocean के कौन से wave में हैं? So this is second wave that is going on, and we are in the Eastern Division of Nectar of Devotional Service. The first wave was in the chapter 1, and then the second wave is about the sadhana bhakti, and from chapter 2 to 16. So yesterday we discussed chapter 11, so we are still in the second wave. Then chapter 17 will be discussing about the third wave, about the bhav bhakti, chapter 17 and 18. And then after that, chapter 19 will be the fourth wave, prema bhakti. So this is the Eastern Ocean second wave sadhana bhakti we are discussing. And the previous chapters we discussed about the 64 limbs of devotional service, and then Srila Rupa Goswami is putting out different quotations from various shastra to support those limbs of devotional service. And yesterday we discussed chapter 11 that contains the items from 47 to 53. Just few points related to yesterday what we discussed.
Haribol Prabhuji, is
Yes.
it that song Manas Dehe Ge Jo Kichu Me Mora?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So chapter 11. So if you see chapter 10, so this chapter discussed about Shravanam, and in Shravanam also we discussed about Nam Shravanam, Charita Shravanam, and Gunadi Shravan. To hear the name, to hear about pastimes, and to hear about the qualities. Right. Then we also discussed about Smriti and Dhyanam. Now in chapter 11, we are discussing about the Dasyam, Sakhyam, and Atmanivedanam. We know that there are 9 main processes of devotional service. So out of that, Shravanam was discussed in the previous part. And of course, like these are also contains the part of 64 limbs of devotional service. And in chapter 9, we discussed about Archanam. So in various chapters, those different aspects of devotional service are mentioned. They are also included, these 9 forms of devotional service, they also come in the 64 limbs. Right? So this chapter contains 3 parts, Dasyam, Sakhyam, and Atmanivedanam. So these are the most advanced of the 9 main processes of devotional service. Now first, under Dasyam, there are 2 aspects. One is Karmarpanam. It means offering one's activities to the Lord. And second is Kainkaryam, serving in the mood of a personal attendant. These are 2 types of servitorship. So the Skand Puran elaborately describes the first aspect. And Naradiya Puran, Srila Rupa Goswami quotes for the second aspect. Now the first aspect, offering one's activities to the Lord, it has 2 subdivisions. Offering activities, it has 2 subdivisions. One is offering the fruits of one's prescribed duties in Varnashram. You are a Brahman, a Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. Whatever is your occupation based upon your Varna, we perform that occupation, and whatever the result is, we offer that to Krishna. And second, is offering direct service within the 9 main process of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Parsevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Now, some teacher accepts both subdivision as bona fide form of servitorship in sadhana bhakti. However, our acharyas do not. Because pure devotional service must be free from jnana karmadi anavritam, must be free from work born of fruitive desires. And therefore, our acharyas do not accept the offering, the fruits of our prescribed duties. So this one, it is our acharyas do not count this as a bona fide item of sadhana bhakti. And any one of you, if you have Brahma Samhita with you, and if you go to the text 61, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur commentary in that verse supports that. So he says that if we are offering our activities in Varna Ashram, that is called as God Dharma, means subsidiary devotional activity. So such activities, they are not directly bhakti, but they may indirectly be conducive to devotional service. And that is why it is not a practice of pure devotional service, sadhana bhakti. However, indirectly it supports our devotional service. And to support this, if you read the text, there is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:25-23, where it says, ordinary work performed as an offering to God without desires for the result is understood to be in the mode of goodness, whereas activities of devotional service such as chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord are transcendental form of work beyond the modes of nature. So you perform an ordinary work and we offer the result to Krishna. We perform a work but we do not have desire to enjoy that result. So that activity is in the mode of goodness. But the activities of devotional service, like just like chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord, they are beyond the modes of nature. So Srila Prabhupada, yesterday we read in the Nectar of Devotion, page 95, English 1. In the opinion of karmis, offering the result of karma is called servitorship. But according to Vaishnavacharya, servitorship means constant engagement in some kind of service to the Lord. So anyone who is a fruitive worker, they think that offering the result of karma is called servitorship. But according to Srila Rupa Goswami, servitorship means constantly being engaged in the service of Krishna. And that is why Srila Prabhupada reconciles the two opinions. Yesterday we read, those who are engaged in fruitive activities are prescribed duties according to the 4 orders of social and spiritual life are not actually pure devotees. But still, because they are offering the result to the Lord, they are accepted as devotees. When one has no such desire but acts spontaneously out of love of God, such a person must be accepted as pure devotee. So what is the difference between pure devotee and a devotee? A devotee is doing all his duties and he's offering the result to Krishna. So definitely he is a devotee. But a pure devotee, he is in the spontaneous love. He acts spontaneously out of love of God. And he has absolutely, his very activity is meant for the pleasure of Krishna. Whereas in the normal case, one may perform an activity out of duty and he may not have the desire to enjoy the result, but still he will act according to his nature, whatever is according to his duty. But a pure devotee, he may not have a particular, even a nature also to do a particular kind of work. but because Krishna wants it, he will do it for Krishna out of his spontaneous love of God. Is very in one case, one is doing a particular activity, he completes. When the result comes, he offers to Krishna. But in case of pure devotees, right from the beginning of act, it is a pure devotional service because he's doing it only for Krishna. So this was the two subdivisions of karma arpanam. So then what about this one? Kainkaryam, serving in the mode of personal attendant. So in this karma arpanam, one is performing direct devotional service. In this second type of servitorship, one performs direct devotional service, but he performs in the mood of a personal attendant. So the difference lies between the attitude of the performer, not in the activities themselves. The activities may be similar, but the mood and attitude is different. So even if one is engaging in 9 processes of direct devotional service, so his activities will be karma arpanam until he serves with a very deep concentration in a mood of personal attendant of the Lord. And then here Srila Rupa Goswami quotes from Naradiya Puran, and it describes this mood of tireless endeavor to serve Krishna with body, mind and words. Iha yasya harer dasya karmana manasa gira nikhila swapi avasthasu jivan mukta sa uchyate. So this, someone's mic is on, I think. So this illustrates what it means to be a devotee in Kainkaryam. One is constantly engaging everything, his very mind, his body and words in Lord's personal service. So that is about Dasyam that we discussed yesterday. Now about the Sakyam, just like Dasyam had 2 types, similarly the Sakyam also is of 2 types of friendship. One is a superior well-wisher, which is called as Vishwasa, and the other is Maitri, a friendly relationship with a peer. So there are 2 kinds of friends. One, a superior well-wisher, and the other is on equal level, and we have a friendly relationship with a peer. Now about Vishwasa, about this senior one, it means one has a very, very strong faith and confidence in the Lord that he is our benefactor. So Srila Prabhupada writes, the devotee who has confidence in devotional service to the Lord systematically follows all the rules and regulations with the faith that he will achieve the platform of transcendental life. So Draupadi, one of the examples in this category is Draupadi. So Draupadi is a devotee who is seeing the Lord as a friend in the sense of Vishwasa, her well-wisher and protector. Now, the magic comes here. You know, this is what Srila Prabhupada writes, a very amazing thing here. Ordinarily, a devotee sees the Lord as a well-wisher. Just like Draupadi, she is depending upon Krishna because she is seeing Krishna as a senior well-wisher and she is completely depending upon him. But here, Srila Prabhupada writes a very amazing thing. Srila Prabhupada writes, if one preaches Krishna consciousness, the devotee becomes the well-wisher friend of the Lord. Here, the devotee is seeing the Lord as a well-wishing friend. Got it? But if one is preaching the message of Krishna consciousness, that preacher becomes the well-wisher of Krishna. So one can imagine the position of a preacher of Krishna consciousness movement. That is why Krishna says the preacher is the dearmost person to me. No one is more dearer than a person who preaches the message of Krishna. So now because Vishwasa, it refers to the faith in Lord. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami discusses the topic of faith. So faith has two stages. One is Shraddha, that is preliminary faith. And the second is Vishwas, when the faith is mature. So Shraddha, it's a simple faith which is necessary to begin to engage in devotional service, which in time matures into Vishwas, strong faith. Right? That is why Srila Prabhupada, yesterday we read that a neophyte devotee who has simply developed a slight love of Godhead is certainly a prospective candidate for devotional service. When he becomes firmly fixed in such devotional service, that assured status becomes a confidential part of his devotional service. Right? And the other one we discussed is, what is this called? Maitri. So this stage also occurs at an advanced stage where a devotee is beginning to serve the deity in the mood of fraternity or equality. And what is the example? Srila Prabhupada writes about devotee lying down in the temple of the Lord in order to serve him as a confidential friend. Such friendly behavior may be accepted as Raganuga, because according to regulative principles, no one can lie down in the temple of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This spontaneous love of Godhead may be grouped under devotional service in friendship. So this is called as Maitri. So then we discussed about Atma Nivedanam, means surrendering everything to the Lord. So Atma Nivedanam, surrendering everything. So this word Atma has different meanings according to different authorities. Sometimes it is considered to Atma, the soul. Sometimes it is considered to the mind. And sometimes the word Atma means the body. So depending upon the definition, Atma Nivedan have three meanings. Atma, when refers to the body, then Atma Nivedana means full bodily surrender. When Atma refers to mind, then Atma Nivedana means full mental surrender. And if Atma refers to the spirit self, then Atma Nivedana means full surrender of self-identity. So this prayer of Yamunacharya that we read, so in that prayer, the Atma is defined as the soul or the possessor of the body. So Atma Nivedana means then surrender of the egoistic attachment to the body. Such a person, this Atma Nivedana, it's body, mind, self. And in Yamunacharya's prayer, he's completely surrendering his own egoistic attachment to the body. So then discussed about offering a favorite article, which is also called as Nij Priyo Paharanam. So this also have two aspects. What are those two aspects? One is to offering the Lord our own favorite article. And second is to offer the Lord his favorite article, such as peacock feather. So that part, offering favorite article, one is we are offering what is favorite to us. And the second is we are offering what is favorite to Krishna. These both comes under this aspect. And then was tad arthe khila cheshtitam, performing all endeavors for Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada writes that everyone can easily perform this aspect of sadhana bhakti, even those who are engaged in worldly responsibilities. So this is what is most practical for all of us, to perform all endeavors for Krishna. How? Srila Prabhupada gives an example. A devotee who has a great establishment or factory may offer the fruit of such a material possession for the service of the Lord. And then is being a surrendered soul. Here it is called as Sharanagati. Sometimes it is called as Sharanapati. So there is a subtle distinction between Atma Nivedanam and here as Sharanapati. Here it is written as Sharanagati, although there is a difference between Sharanagati and Sharanapati also, specifically according to Sri Sampradaya. What is the difference? Here, this item 52, it means to consider oneself completely subservient to and protected by the Lord. In Atma Nivedanam, this also means self-dedication. Ramanand Prem Prabhu, can you mute yourself? I'm unable to mute you. So, in Atma Nivedanam also means self-dedication, but it may not be accompanied by such feeling of subservience and dependence. So, Bali Maharaj was an example of Atma Nivedanam, because he did not have a feeling of subservient dependence on the Lord. That was a subtle difference that Acharyas explained. Both are completely dedicating themselves to Krishna, but here are also the feelings of subservience and dependence upon the Lord are very strong in this aspect. And then finally we discussed about serving Tulsi, that it is simply so auspicious just to see Tulsi, just to pray to Tulsi Maharani, just to actually bow down and to hear about her glories and to practically serve Tulsi Maharani. These are the items that we discussed yesterday in chapter 11. And a brief about that we discussed about. So in chapter 10, we discussed items from 43 to 46. Chapter 11 from 47 to 53. So next we will read about chapter 12, in which items 54 to 64 will be discussed. Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you very much for your kind attention. If there are any questions, you can take. Otherwise, those who wish to leave, you can leave. But please do that assignment. Take out some time. Think about the form of the Lord. Compile some verses. Write down in your own language. Just make a recording and send it to us. That simple one assignment can nourish not only you but many more devotees. And the essence of devotional service actually is to engage our minds in thinking of Krishna, in absorption. So, and especially when we worship deities, when we do archana, there is a process before actually worshipping the deities, with actually beginning to worship deities. The worshipper needs to meditate upon first the holy place of the deity, just like when we worship Gaunitai, or we worship Radha Krishna, or we worship Shaligram Shila. The first process is to have worship Guru. And when we worship Guru, the first process in worshipping Guru is to actually meditate upon how Guru is sitting at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya in Navadvip Dham. And then there is Guru Gayatri. And secondly, then is a process to worship Gaurang Mahaprabhu. And in that, the first meditation is upon the Navadvip Dham. So there are many verses related to Navadvip Dham, and the worshipper has to actually, that is called as Mansik Puja. And in this Mansik Puja, it has to be done in a very elaborate way. And then one has to meditate upon the form of Gaurang Mahaprabhu. So there are all those verses. Sarthunya charutire kanikaruchitam. Sarthunya charutire kanikaruchitam. Sankirtanatyam. I'm just skipping that verse. So there are the translations and there are those verses. And then one has to meditate upon the form of Gaurang Mahaprabhu. So this is a way. And then when worships Radha Krishna, the first and foremost process is to have Vrindavan Dhyan. And there are Dhyan mantras for the same. And then one has to worship upon the form of Krishna. And then when one does that, the Bhaya Puja starts. So this is all the part of Ashtanam that we are doing. It's not some concocted exercise. This is based upon the processes that are given by our acharyas. And if anyone wants to worship deities, it's a very good and right meditation. If you have deities at home, this is ideally what you should have been doing already. So that is why that exercise was given. So please do that. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, one question.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, like I want to write about Jagannath Puri Dhamta. I'm not finding any verse. Like, is it there in any Shastra?
Jagannath Ashtakam. Mahambodhe sthire kanakaruchire nila shikhare vasan prasadanta sahaja balabhadrena balina subhadra madhyastha sakala seva sakala sura seva avasarado Jagannath Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu Me. So that entire
Okay.
verse is there. All 8 verses are there. You can read
Okay.
the meaning. And
Okay.
One question, like
yeah,
if we meditate, there are so many voices coming from inside. Like I can't able to recognize which one is for the mind, which one is intelligence, and is there any voice for Paramatma or what is? There are so many.
our process of meditation is actually to chant Hare Krishna and to simply focus our mind on that sound vibration. We don't have to do anything else as for now. Anything else, all other things will follow if you follow the process of Shravanam and Kirtanam. So when we hear and when we chant, automatically that will come in our thoughts.
Okay, so we don't have to meditate anything special.
At present, to begin with, the best meditation is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra,
Yeah.
and then contemplate about the subject matters that have been discussed and see the form of the Lord, see the deity's form. So whatever the senses are, 5 senses. So with the eyes, see the form of the Lord. With the ears, hear the sound vibration. With the tongue, taste Krishna Prasad. With the skin, practically, serve Mother Tulsi, serve devotees, and what else is left?
No.
Nose. Hear the smell the flowers that are offered to Krishna. This is our meditation. And whatever exercise that are being given to you, you engage your mind in doing those exercises. Reciting verses, memorizing verses. These are all meditation. And gradually, the more we become purified, the mind will become peaceful, and then it can stay. It will be more and more absorbed in Krishna.
But Prabhuji, my mind is not that much sharp. It's not able to learn any verses. Like I can recite side by side, but to remember anything is not possible. I tried so many times.
It is definitely possible, 101%. How am I so sure? Because you may think it is not possible, but Krishna thinks it is possible. So whom should I believe? Should I believe what your mind is saying to you, or should I believe what Krishna is saying about Sumit Prabhu?
Mind is always bewildering. It's always so Krishna is saying that is I have to believe.
So Krishna is saying in the previous modules, I'm not sure if you were there, what was austerity of speech? Anyone knows that verse? Austerity of speech.
अनुद्वेगा करम वाक्यम सत्यम प्रियाहितम च यत् स्वाध्याय भाषणम च वा वन्मयम तपुच्यते.
Yeah. So it says Swadhyay Bhyasanam Chaiva. Abhyas means practice. Practice of what? Swadhyay Bhyasanam Chaiva. In reciting the Vedic literature. So you have to just recite these verses daily. If you will make an effort of memorizing and reciting them, it will stay with you.
I'll try.
It is not, I am not even doubt of even an iota. There is no doubt, even a 0.001%. Guaranteed you will be able to do if you follow the right process. What is the right process? You have to simply practice reciting them. Recite them daily. Make these a part of your life. It will stay.
Thank you so much.
If Krishna gives us free will in doing anything that is against scriptures, he doesn't interfere and he provides all facilities. Why will he not provide us the support if we want to actually do what he is saying? And it is said, Krishna says, I gives the memory. Sarvasya chaham hridasanivischo. sitting in his heart. So Krishna will give all intelligence. He just want to see you make an effort. That's all. You're talking about one verse. I can openly challenge you. If you try, you can learn entire Bhagavad Gita, 700 verse, within just 1-2 years.
By daily practicing 1 or 2 slokas.
Yeah. You're talking about one verse, 2 verse. I'm thinking you can memorize the entire 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita. Why not? Anyone can do that.
Definitely, your words are so encouraging. I'll try.
Yeah. It is what Krishna says. I'm not saying. You won't believe Prabhupada, when he went to Japan, the program was organized for small children, 6 years, 7 years of age. And in Japan, Prabhupada told those children to memorize entire Bhagavad Gita. Those 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old children in a school, Prabhupada telling them in Japan, not Indian students, Japanese students. If you read My Glorious Master by Bhurijan Prabhu book, Bhurijan Prabhu explains this. He was the one who organized. So if Prabhupada is giving this target to a child as 5 years, 6 years of age, we all can do.
Yeah, there is a lack in efforts actually. That is what I believe.
Those can be covered up. Just like Mataji posted in the group those verses from Mukund Mala Stotra.
So amazing that she recited.
There were verses from the other all 8 stanzas of Ashtakam.
Even Prabhupada also in this book also, NOD also, he is putting one quote from Srimad Bhagavatam, one from some another, and it's all related. I was thinking like yesterday only, like how Prabhupada compiled such beautifully that everything is accurate. And at the age of 70 plus, so I was thinking that even I am not able to recite what is written. So
Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he wrote at the age when he started writing that book when he was 90 plus. Sometimes people say that with the age memory decreases. He was 90 plus. He was on the verge of leaving the body, and he presented this world the most valuable treasure of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So at any age one can take it up. It does not mean we wait to become old thinking we'll do it later, because we don't know for how long we'll live. The purpose is in our present moment, whatever age, whatever condition of life I am in, you can fully perform devotional service and you can make rapid advancement.
yeah, it's all about willpower.
It is about seeking mercy of Vaishnavas and Utsaha Nishtay Dharya. Yes, willpower, Nishtay. And then Utsaha, and then Dharya. Enthusiasm, determination, and patience. 3 things.
But apart from chanting, like listening to the class, then doing assignments, and then even trying to learn the shlokas, it takes so much of time. Like I generally struggle out for the time on daily basis. Like I have to do some other things also, and somehow that's why I'm not able to do even the assignments also. I was thinking it's a very big mistake.
The time struggle is there when we do not know what is our goal and what are our priorities. If that clarity is not there in the mind, then we'll always feel there is very less time with us. We all have 24 hours.
People are doing like the Mataji recited from Kulkshetra, this thing. So she has also given that much of time, then only she recited.
You can also do. All
Thank
of
you
us
so
can
much.
do. You just need to prioritize. That's all. Okay, fine. Thank you so much. Tomorrow is Ekadashi. So happy Ekadashi. Prepare your consciousness for tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Bhakti.
Thank you, Prabhuji.